Wade, I'm going to hand it off to you. 2003,
All right, guys.
baby.
We will now be doing our top 3 movies from the year 2003. You guys know the drill. We'll have some honorable mentions, some honorable tops. Maybe, shake it up a little bit this time. We'll see. But just a reminder, guys, I'm the only one that knows everyone's picks. Everyone else will need to try to guess it once it pops up. And one thing, guys, make sure you say what the movie is clearly. A few times we didn't do that last time. And for the audio listeners, just make sure we say clearly what movie we're talking about. All right, let's jump in. We got some honorable tops of 2003. So these are the ones that all of us would have picked, or they were picked in our previous top 10 movies series.
Yep.
So, I mean, you guys know the main honorable top here. This would have been everyone's number one by far. Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. Obviously swept the whole Oscars and everything, and I think it also was the number one blockbuster, for the theaters for money wise. But then also John had one from 2003, which was Master and Commander from our top 10 series pick. So he was not allowed to pick this one.
Yep.
Those two movies side by side are really interesting because without Return of the King, Master and Commander would have probably
would have won
a ton of Oscars that year. Probably would have won Best Picture.
Mm-hmm. They were nominated for quite a few. Well.
That movie any other year would have been
it got snubbed.
Epic. But it unfortunately came out the same year as just a transcendent movie and got lost in the shuffle a bit. But that's a really cool movie.
Yeah,
sure.
All right, let's jump into John's number 3.
Woohoo!
All right.
Cam, you know it?
Oh,
is it Road to El Dorado?
No, that was That was
2002.
Sinbad.
Yes.
That's right.
Sinbad.
Sorry. Oh my, John.
Sinbad,
I've never seen it.
Legend of the Seven Seas.
Dang.
It's a classic DreamWorks movie. It's like it's like a mix between 2D and 3D. Like there's some aspects like 3D, and I don't know. I guess I don't know what you would classify it because it's like it's different. It's like early 2000s. They're kind of like moving over to 3D, but they're still like
it's kind of like Treasure Planet. Same idea.
Same idea. So basically, Sinbad and Legend of the Seven Seas is about it's about a legendary sailor, Sinbad, and he's framed by the goddess of chaos, Eris, for theft of the Book of Peace, and he must travel to her realm to end at the end of the world. Basically, like the world's flat, so to retrieve and save the life of his childhood.
Good point.
Friend. Yeah. So it takes place in is it like Syracuse, and the book is stolen, and so his friend's like, no, I'll they're childhood friends, so he's like, no, I'll take his place. So Sinbad has to travel and try to figure out all right, how to get the book back. And so it's a fun movie. It's it's I think it's a little scary. I think in some aspects for kids, really young kids. But me, I didn't care. Like I was watching Matrix at 6, so I was like, I didn't find it that scary. That was good.
That's fun.
But yeah, it's got a pretty good cast. It's Brad Pitt as Sinbad, Michelle Pfeiffer as Eris, Catherine Zeta-Jones as Morena. It's like the love interest. And so those are big name actors and actresses.
Dang, I kind of want to see it now that you say it's Brad Pitt.
Yeah, Brad Pitt. He does a great job. I really enjoy it. And Michelle Pfeiffer, she does, and she's a great voice actress. Like in some of their other movies she's in, Prince of Egypt. I was like, she does a pretty good job.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's a lot. It's a fun adventure movie. Highly recommend it. So.
Cool. Yeah, that's on my list to watch pretty soon.
Yeah, John, that makes me want to watch it. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
We tried Road to El Dorado, didn't like it. Too sensual for a kids movie. Mm-hmm. So
I'll
take scary over sensual. So
yeah, there's a lot of monsters in it. There's monsters throughout the film.
That's sick though. That's awesome.
Cool.
It's kind of like Sinbad. That's on the seas, on the ocean.
Yeah.
You encounter mermaids or whatever, all the random ocean dwellers.
I miss this type of animation, like the mix of 2D mixed with
Yeah.
3D a little bit,
Just when they were
Yeah.
perfecting it, everybody decided to copy Pixar.
Yeah,
Yep, exactly.
so annoying.
I mean, they're kind of going back. Like, kind of. I mean,
Spider-Verse is kind
It's
of
getting
like
more.
kinda
Things are getting more interesting, definitely.
yeah, Spider-Verse. Even like
And DreamWorks' new style is
yeah,
True. Yeah, like Bad Guys.
bad guy.
the
Yeah,
Wild
like,
Robot, Bad Guys, the new Puss in Boots. They're all the new DreamWorks style, and it's really unique.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Cool.
even
Sweet.
like I would say even old. They're going back to old cartoons, kind of like with Invincible, like kind of
Yeah.
like that.
Oh yeah.
Which
Oh, yeah.
I always prefer that. I don't know. I just like that style of art. More.
Invincible would be so cheesy if it was 3D.
Yeah,
Oh gosh,
dude.
yeah.
That would be so cheesy.
It would
bad.
feel like Megamind a little bit,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad. Yeah.
Nice,
so,
guys.
Yeah,
Nice
that's
job.
Sinbad.
All right.
That's a
Let's
good
move
take,
on.
John.
Mm-hmm.
Cams, number 3.
I'm singing. I'm in a store and I'm singing.
I'm in a
All right,
store
guys.
and I'm singing.
This
Classic
is a
Elf.
classic Christmas movie. Will Ferrell's best, maybe some would say. I love Zoe Deschanel as well. So yeah, I really like this movie. Is it John Conn or Scott Conn? I think it's Scott Conn, right? Is the dad? But yeah, love
James
this movie.
Conn.
Classic James Conn. Sorry, jeez. Yeah, love this movie. Obviously, classic fish out of water scenario. He's a human raised by elves, raised by Papa Elf. Some of my favorite stuff in this is just him walking around New York City, like interacting with real people, apparently. And Jon Favreau is a classic storyteller. It's crazy that he started out with this, working up to Iron Man, then, Jungle Book, and now even The Mandalorian and Grogu. So pretty wild that, he started out with this amazing Christmas movie. It made so much money. They offered, like, a crazy number to Will Ferrell, and he turned it down because he said, like, basically, we can't mess with the original. It's too good, And
They tried
I
to do a sequel?
I'll try to. Yeah.
yeah, they tried to do a sequel, and they offered Will Ferrell a ton of money, and he was like,
wow.
"No." He's like, "We have to keep the story like just as it is. It's good. We don't need more." You know what I mean?
That was some good insight, honestly. Pretty genius.
Yeah. So
You'd never guess it,
yeah.
but smart guy Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
Well,
Right,
funny
yeah.
people are smart people. You have
Yeah,
to.
for
They
real.
they notice things in society. They can kind of mimic them, make fun of them, make fun of themselves. So I actually do think
That's
that.
true. Yeah.
But yeah, I love this movie. Do you guys have any favorite scenes?
So
Good.
many.
I
think
don't know how to describe it, but John, you can go first.
I was gonna say, the scenes when he's like finally in New York City, and he's like experiencing everything for the first time. I love the
Yeah.
scene with the brochure guys. He's like taking their brochures all the time.
Thank you.
Was that
Thank you.
scripted? Was that like Was
No,
that,
it
were
was-
those real people.
All of that
It was
was
real
like it was like
Actual
Borat
New York,
kind of. Yeah.
Yeah,
Actual
they're
New
like-
York
'Cause
interactions.
I was like, that seems real. They're like, because
Santa,
real.
No, what?
Santa.
You know what? Get out of here.
Get
Yeah.
out of here! Get out of here! He's like, oh, okay. Yeah, Santa.
I wonder
Yeah.
when they filmed
Uh,
that. Probably not during Christmas time. Just so it'd be even more annoying to people that this guy's dressed up as an elf.
Elf. Yeah.
I don't know, but you can see in the movie it's cold in the streets, and
Yeah,
it is.
so it
Yeah.
has to be.
Yeah.
I think they really
Like
did.
November or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe November-ish time.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
I'm with
Jake?
John. I love that first. Once you get past the first, I don't know, maybe 15 or 20 minutes, the first, pretty much the beginning of the second act when he's in New York is just.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just so classic to me. It's almost comforting. You
Yeah.
know, just scene after scene after scene of just funny, iconic scenes, and I'm just so used to watching it on TV growing up and seeing it again every year. It's a pretty comforting movie, which is pretty funny because
Yeah.
Will Ferrell movies usually don't have that reputation. He's a little just kind of stupider and edgier.
Yeah.
But
Very true.
yeah, but this movie really has a lot of heart. And
I know what you're saying about that. This movie makes me
It's
want to go
comforting.
to New York City. It makes me want to go
Yeah.
to New York City, and it
Christmas.
makes New York City look really beautiful. Like with all the
Yeah.
Christmas decorations and
It is
yeah.
cool going to New York City during Christmas time.
Oh yeah, I
So I
bet.
went
I've never
here.
done it.
It was like,
Actually,
oh,
I've
this
done
is
it
so
when I was
Christmas.
little.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I was like, the Christmas trees were up. Everybody was ice skating. I was like,
Hawkeye's
Yeah,
fighting
it's-
people. It's awesome.
yeah, Hawkeye. Yeah, I saw Hawkeye.
That's cool.
Wait, any
Yeah,
favorite
but,
scene?
I was just going to mention, I think the song choices in this, because sometimes Christmas movies can do the same Christmas songs over and over. This one's got like a very wide variety. I always like that "Pennies from Heaven." That song.
Yeah. It really
So-
adds to it. It adds to the
Yeah.
flavor of the movie.
Yeah.
I was because they did I think was it Netflix? I don't know. There's a documentary about like all the
Really?
like great films. I think
I know what you're
Netflix.
talking
Oh
about.
yeah,
Yes.
John. Yeah, we saw some of that. I saw
Yeah.
some of that. Yeah.
Yeah, they talk about Elf and who is it? James Caan. He did not like Will Ferrell at all. Like,
Yeah, that's
Which
right.
makes it even better.
He thought he was, and that tickle scene that wasn't scripted. That was just improv. So he was like really annoyed, like at that scene.
Oh,
with
I also love when
Will
he's
Ferrell.
eating the cotton balls. He's like eating them in front of the dad, and then he takes one out of his ear. He's like, "Ooh,"
Yeah,
and puts it right in his mouth.
oh, so good.
All right, we're talking too much. Wade, move on.
You're good. You're good. All right. My number 3
Nice.
is Finding
Ooh!
Nemo. And
Yes.
I think everyone has seen this at this point. This is my favorite Pixar movie by far. A lot of people don't know this, but I'm a huge animal buff. I love animals, and the ocean both terrifies me and amazes me every time I watch a documentary or something on it. But yeah, this movie encapsulates it so well, and it's the coolest thing ever to watch. Marlin and Dory go across the ocean, meet all the different creatures. From everything down to the abyssal region of the ocean, all the way to whales and sharks and everything in between, and just trying to find his son. It's a classic, and I love Australian accents, and the dentist in this is pretty hilarious. So yeah, I mean, you guys know that this is a great one.
It's revolutionary, right? I mean, the animation to this as well, right? Apparently, they had to like make it more cartoony because it was looking too lifelike, like to the actual thing. The way they're animating water, even, is just like crazy, dude. And this is 2003. I mean, revolutionary, dude. I love this movie. Yeah, I think this is an honorable mention for me as well. I remember watching this with you growing up, Wade. So yeah. This does hold
every like idea for like the voice actor was just funny, just like the turtle's a total bro, and the shark is a big like oh man.
And the soundtrack, it sounds like water to me.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I hear that music, that piano, and that's, to me, that's what the ocean sounds like.
Oh, dude.
And not even just the score, but the sound design of the bells and the pipes and the currents. It's a ridiculous achievement to make you feel like you've been somewhere you're never going to go.
Yeah, when you said that, Jake, it literally like the music just like it flooded into my brain. It was like, dun, dun, like just man. And say what you want about Ellen or whatever, but she plays Dory so well, actually.
Well, that's the thing. Ellen is an awful person, but her performance in this is ridiculous. She does a great job.
It is. I agree.
He is ridiculous as Dory. It's
so good.
Definitely the high point of a pretty sucky and scary career. Probably one of the only good points.
Yeah.
Oh,
nobody.
But dude,
to say about Ellen.
This movie also made me scared of barracudas, even though apparently they don't really attack humans. But when we were snorkeling in Florida, Jacob and I, and we were at our friend's house, we get done, and we were snorkeling in this like area, and we get done, and he's like, "Did you see that like 6-foot barracuda next to us?" I was like, "No, that was next to us the whole time."
He was like, "Yeah, there's a barracuda following us."
So it's like I just my mind flashes to Nemo, whenever I think of a barracuda.
Dang.
But anyway,
yeah.
So yeah,
really good,
I love oceanography and animals like this, and it's just cool to see, and it's a good story on top of it.
Yeah, just the classic dad searching for his son, right?
Yep,
his injured,
absolutely.
His disabled son, you could say even as well, right? I mean, his fin doesn't work as well. Yeah, so I mean, it's a really good story.
It's always those dads that get you, man.
Yeah, it does.
Those dad movies.
There's he's got like some monologues in here, right? About like why he's doing this, and then like it like inspires the whole ocean. Like that's just an insane scene.
That's a good scene.
Good scene.
Man, love it.
Yep. All right, guys. Let's move
Sweet.
on.
Yeah,
to
let's move on.
Jacob's controversial number 3, maybe.
What the heck?
Holes.
Holes.
Oh,
You guys ever seen the
Holes!
movie Holes?
Oh yeah,
I've
Dude,
seen
it's
this
been
once.
over a
Okay.
decade for me since I've seen
So
Holes.
so Holes is based on a book by Louis Char, who's a 80s and 90s young adult author. The book Holes is one of I would say it's a young adult classroom staple.
Yep.
We had to read it in middle school, and but had to read it isn't even the right word, because the book is so good that me and most of the kids I know would take it home and devour chapter after chapter. It really kind of was the first time most of us were experienced to storytelling that spans generations. Are you guys all familiar with the story?
A little. I watched it once, like
Okay.
10, 15
I've
years
never
ago.
seen it.
Okay, so barring any spoilers, because it really is worth a watch. And it's PG, Wade. You could probably watch it with the family.
Okay.
It's pretty much it's a generational story about a family curse that's been stuck on his family for a couple generations now.
That's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf, yep. His character's name is Stanley Yelnats, and Yelnats is Stanley backwards. So he's Stanley Yelnats, God, I think the fourth, maybe the fifth. Anyways, so the story goes back all the way with his family and tells a story about the post-Civil War era, and that takes place in the same area. And it tells this story now of this kid. He got in trouble and he got sent to this camp called Camp Green Lake, and all they do there at this camp, it's a juvenile detention camp for boys, is they dig holes 6 feet wide, 6 feet deep every day. Then they're done. That's it. And so the mystery is, why are they digging the holes? And the story unravels in the past and in the present as to why they're digging the holes in the spot where the past story took place.
That sounds
And
really interesting. Yeah.
it's
It's a pretty good. It's a good movie.
and it's one of the best book to movie adaptations I've seen in my life. They didn't cut anything, they didn't add anything. It's line for line in most of the parts. It's really a perfect adaptation.
Dang.
So
That's
to the
cool.
point where they showed us the movie in school, because it's so close to the book that it keeps the same thing. Obviously Shia LaBeouf is the main character. I think it was one of his earlier things, but the rest of the cast is so stacked that every other character entrance you'll be like, what? I mean,
Is that Sigourney Weaver?
Sigourney Weaver and John Voight right there. It's also got Tim Blake
Oh,
Nelson, Henry Winkler, Patricia
Dang.
Whoa.
Arquette. And if any of you like Psych, it's got Dule Hill, who played Gus on Psych, has a part in
Cool.
it too. And that's the famous meme. I can fix that. That's where that comes from.
Yeah.
But guys, this movie is just so cool because it was an early thing for me to recognize. This was probably one of the first things I read and watched where it kind of went beyond, here's a silly story. I mean, what year are we in? 2003. What else was I watching? I mean, I'm not going to Finding Nemo was obviously good, but what other crap kids shows was I watching at the time?
We'll find out in the honorable mentions.
Yeah, actually, we will. There's a couple things in there. But yeah, this was the first time I think reading a book where I really kind of took it to the next level. Went from maybe like a picture book and a chapter book to a young adult novel. So it means a lot to me like that. And the movie is just entertaining as heck. Saturday morning staple. If it was on Disney Channel on a Saturday morning, you're gonna have a great morning. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of this story. And yeah, the mystery is really intriguing, and as it unravels, there's a lot of payoffs if you've been paying attention, and it's really rewarding on rewatches because you catch everything that you did in the first time.
Cool. Yeah, I like
Nice.
those kind of movies. So yeah, I definitely should.
Wade, you would love this movie, I think.
It is a step above of other young adult Disney movies.
I had no idea. I thought it was like a jokey, stupid movie.
No, Disney was making kind of at the time their live action. I mean, this was in theaters, but their live action movies of the time were kind of.
No, you'll see those two. That's why I compare it to them once we get to the honorable mentions. Yeah.
But this one, and they probably they were doing whatever, do this. They just happened to grab a great book, and whoever wrote the screenplay, I don't know who did it. Whoever wrote the screenplay was just smart enough to be like, the book rules. I'm not changing anything. And the movie is going to endure because of it.
Yeah.
Apparently they're doing a remake on Disney Plus as a TV show.
Yikes.
Not looking forward to it. It's also supposed to be.
No.
It's also supposed to be gender swapped. It's supposed to be girls digging all the holes. That
Classic.
doesn't really make sense. I don't think they would do that. I mean, part of the idea is they get all of these guys out here to dig holes, and anyways, so we'll see. I'm not
Weird.
a big fan of that, but I'm glad that both the book and this movie will always be there.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like it.
It's yeah. Okay.
Oh,
John's number 2, everyone.
All right.
The
Tom
Last
Cruise, we know.
Samurai.
Yes. The
The
Last
Last-
Samurai.
let's
Oh,
go.
dude, I love this movie.
I'm liking Tom Cruise's beard.
Dude, he rocks a great beard in this movie. This is what I have to say about Tom Cruise. I wish he would go back to like movies like these, like early 2000s, like 90s to early 2000s. Like he was doing like just random movies, and it wasn't like action packed, but he's a great actor. So I just
He
wish
is.
he would be involved in like other stuff than just action movies. But okay, so The Last Samurai. Has everybody seen it?
Nope.
Yes. What? Wait, you haven't seen
You
it?
haven't
Jacob
seen it?
and I have not seen
I've
it.
never seen this. No.
Oh,
Okay.
I just watched it, John, like a few weeks, like a
you
month,
did?
few months ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, so I'll just read the overview for you guys. So, Captain Nathan Aldrin, that's Tom Cruise's character, is an American military officer hired by the Emperor of Japan to train the country's first army in the art of modern warfare. As the government attempts to eradicate the ancient samurai warrior class in preparation for more westernized and trade-friendly policies, Aldrin finds himself unexpectedly affected by his encounters with the samurai, which places him at the center of a struggle between two areas and two worlds. And so,
It's based on a true story, kind of, right, John? But they
it's
changed
not
the
really.
name. They changed his name, and yeah.
I mean, it's not. There was a dude that did fight for the samurai. He was a French dude. But
That's
for the
right.
most part, this focuses around Captain Aldrin. He's a American. Japan is in this unique time where they're industrializing, and it's they're like and during this time, Japan was like very
They were
it's like-
behind, right?
They're
Compared
behind
to
everybody.
everybody else. Yeah.
medieval, like they were very much like it was a feudal society. The samurai had the most power, and like there was class levels, and
Yeah.
and by the time they kind of saw what was happening with China, how they were being taken over like by the West, and so they're like, all right. And then they had the Americans in 1850s come to Japan. They're like, we demand trade with you guys, and so they figured out like if we don't adapt, we're going to be taken over. We're going to be used by the Western powers. So they industrialize super quick. Like they're
Get some
like,
cannons. Get some guns.
Yeah, no, like they industrialize so fast. But and so Captain Aldrin, Tom Cruise's character, he comes over to train the army, and his character he fought the the natives out west, and so he's like suffering from like alcohol abuse. He has like really serious PTSD, and so he comes to Japan, and he's like I have to put down another native uprising, and he's like I think he's like basically in his journals he's like narrating his journal. He's like, this is I guess the only use I'm good for, like I'm only good at putting down native tribes. And so he trains the army, and then he's like he gets captured by the samurai, and for a whole year he's with them, and he's learning about their way of life, and he's like soon becomes like he's like he likes it. He really enjoys it. Like he's suffering from PTSD, and he kind of learns how to live, kind of come to grips with himself, with all the things he's done, and he finally decides to fight with the samurai. He's like, I'm not fighting with the Japanese government. I'm fighting with the samurai. And so, and it does a good job. It's not like in most movies, it's you see this white guy coming to these native country, these countries with different cultures, and he saves the world. He saves their culture. But in this movie, he's not. He's just this small little piece in the cog.
He gets changed by the culture more.
Yeah,
so.
but he gets changed by the culture, and he has no effect on the culture at all. He chooses to fight with the samurai, and like he comes to grips with it, and he's like, by the end, like, you know, the samurai, like, in history, they don't win, they lose, and so it's a good
Yeah.
movie, and it has some great actors in it, like what's his face,
Is it Ken Watanabe?
I think so. It's yes, Ken Watanabe, Hiroki Sanada.
Yep.
That's another famous Japanese actor.
Yeah.
But like I enjoy historical pieces, and
It's really good. It's
yeah.
one of Tom Cruise's like underrated films.
yeah,
for
it's
sure.
a very underrated Tom Cruise film.
But John,
But,
back to what you said about Tom Cruise, like you wanting him to go step back into this type of stuff.
Yeah.
Apparently that's his plan because Mission Impossible is
Yeah.
done. Apparently he's doing like a Les Grossman movie,
really?
which is like his character from Tropic Thunder. So they're making a movie surrounding his character.
That's
Oh,
so
boy.
funny.
So I think he wants to get back to this type of like let smaller budget, not so to
not
speak
crazy,
art house,
over the
but
top.
like yeah, there's like more to the
No,
action.
yeah, he was in
actually.
so many in like the late '90s, early
Oh, yeah.
2000s,
Every-
where it was
like,
just like
boy-
it was no action, just like
No
a
action.
good
Yeah.
role, And you're
Like
right, he
drama
is a
series,
really good actor,
movies,
just
like-
without
I
getting
think
action.
I think he's in his time where he's like probably trying to get an Oscar, maybe more than the action. He's getting he's 62.
Yeah, he's
He
like
doesn't have an
62.
Oscar, I don't think, right?
Oh, he could. I think he could get an Oscar.
I think he could too. He's so dedicated
Yeah.
to Scientology.
We're going to talk about Mission Impossible next week, and when you see it at the theater, the movie, it opens with one of those intros, and he's like, "I'm Tom Cruise. Thanks for coming to see the movie in theaters the way it's meant to be seen."
Oh wow, nice.
And I was just kind of like, I wish you were not so weird, because I'm like, I love your movies, dude.
Yeah, he is a
Yeah.
great actor.
Like,
His movies are great.
I was
yeah.
like, your movies are always awesome. Why are you like a scary person?
So
And
true.
seeing him be normal reminded
Yeah.
me of that before the movie. But then he fell into hit the movie, and I loved it. So cool.
Nice.
So you guys haven't seen it, right, guys?
No, I haven't seen it, but
Oh yeah, put it on your
I'm
list.
sure I'd be a big fan. And yeah,
Okay.
though I can tell you the extent that I know about this movie is I actually lost a bet in college one time with one of my roommates. I swore, because I had only seen the poster for this movie and I'd only seen it in passing, I swore it was Christian Bale. And he was like, "Yeah, Tom Cruise is the guy in The Last Samurai," and I was like, "No, it's not. It's Christian Bale." And I pretty much swore on my life it was Christian Bale. And I thought that he was like making fake websites.
It kind of looks like Christian Bale a little bit. Maybe
Yeah,
because of the beard,
so-
right? Yeah.
Yeah, so I really had to. I lost that one, so I'm
Wow.
still bitter. I'm getting over it.
Nice, John. Good take.
All right, let's go to Cam's number 2, and everyone else's honorable mention.
Oh,
Oh, X-Men.
This might be a weird picture, but
X2.
X2,
Beginning.
Nightcrawler,
Yeah.
baby.
Yep.
Oh man! Apparently, this movie is going to become very important to Doomsday because Alan Cummings is coming back as Nightcrawler.
Ooh.
So that's the only X-Men movie he's in. So definitely going to be interesting. But love this movie. I love the first one. Was it on my list for 2001?
yeah, the first one was your number 1
Let's go.
of 2000, I think.
Yeah, so I love this franchise. I actually even love Last Stand, and I know that's controversial, but this one is a classic. You get your classic X-Men. They're not in their correct uniforms. They're still in the black leather, but give them a break. It's the early 2000s. Matrix did a terrible thing to the rest of cinema, which is like black leather is what we need, baby, for everything.
Yeah.
So, I'm sad about that, but if you take that aspect away, this is almost a perfect X-Men movie. There's just the classic hijinks of, breaking Magneto out of prison, all of that stuff, the plastic prison, that Mystique doing her thing. Stryker is a good villain. He's controlling the mutants, the humans as well, right? And then by the end, you have the fake Cerebro scene, where they're controlling Professor X, and you kind of learn Wolverine's origin as well through this movie. And yeah, this movie only gets better. Maybe it's stuck by the times a little bit, maybe like quality wise. But love this movie, directed by Bryan Singer, I believe, as well. Who he did the first two, I think, and he came back for Days of Future Past, I believe, and he did
And
Superman
Apocalypse.
Return and Apocalypse and Superman Returns. So yeah, it's just a classic. Any thoughts, guys, on this one?
This one's definitely the best of the first couple X-Men.
The first three, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I agree with that.
Yeah,
But-
yeah. This movie is just because it introduced the mythology of well, to the movies it did of Wolverine and Stryker and Weapon X and all of that.
Yeah,
Yes.
That subplot is really cool
That is
because
really cool.
you don't get many answers from the first movie, and it really delivers on giving you answers on Wolverine's past. It's a really true sequel in that regard, but it's also a great story in of its own right. Stryker's an awesome villain. Brian Cox is an awesome actor playing Stryker.
Oh yes,
It's just
Yeah.
just a great combo there. And
my
yeah, this is-
favorite scene. My favorite scene is the very end. Wolverine's holding this little mutant boy in the snow with the blue tongue, and Brian Cox's character Stryker's like, "You're gonna stick with that creature, that animal, or whatever," and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna stick with him." And then he ties him up right with the chains or whatever. But yeah, I love that scene. It's just like almost like, yeah, we are different, but it doesn't matter. We're a family. No matter what even if you have the dumbest power ever, a blue tongue. I don't know if that's what it's saying, but
Hey, if that's what you took it as, that's a good.
I don't
tip.
know.
Oh yeah, it is good. Good.
I love the
interpretation.
theme. The music in this is really good.
oh
as well.
yes,
Theme
it's a classic X-Men theme, but it's like enhanced. Yeah.
Yes, it's
Mhm.
great.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah, this movie is just awesome, and like you said, Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler is inspired and awesome casting. It was insane of them to not use more of him, but maybe it
Yeah, I
wasn't
don't know why he
because-
didn't come back.
Considering the majority of these movies are not good, and it's only a select few that are. I'm
Yeah.
glad that he
Mhm.
got to do it his all in one that was great, and not have to be in one that was so and so.
yeah.
I'm assuming he is going to be a plot device in Doomsday with his teleportation powers. Why would you bring him back? Also, I
Yeah,
want to see him in
it's,
his comic book accurate costume with a sword. That'd be
That'd be
freaking
cool.
sick. Like in he's become a fan favorite in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a swashbuckling mutant that teleports. So, wait, any final thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Nightcrawler is my favorite X-Men. He
Seriously?
kind of always was. Yeah, probably because of this
Dang.
movie, but also because of the Wolverine and the X-Men animated show. If you remember that,
Yes,
it
yeah,
was pretty good,
He-
and he was great in that too. But
yeah.
yeah,
Classic.
so I'm excited
and
to see him come back.
Yeah, and they stayed true to his Catholic roots. So cool that they
Yep.
stuck with that actually.
For
And he does
every
this.
scene.
Yeah, and he's marking himself just like Killmonger. Isn't that kind of interesting?
Yeah,
That they
One
kind of
for every
Killmonger,
spin.
they copied the Nightcrawler type thing. That's interesting. Killmonger did the same thing in Black Panther, but yeah,
but his was for every kill. So
his was for every kill, not sin.
little,
so-
little different.
Oh yeah.
But
Dang.
anyway,
But yeah, wait, we can move on. I love that movie.
yep, it's a good one. Jacob's number 2.
Dude, I don't know
Cameron
what
John,
this
do you
is.
even know what this is?
I mean, it's Michelle. What's her? Is it Michelle Pfeiffer?
Oh no!
Uh-oh. We just
Oh,
lost Jacob,
uh-oh.
of course.
Oh, great. He
All
can't
right, well, it
explain
gives us
it.
time.
This movie is Cold Mountain.
Cold Mountain. I've never even heard of this.
Never watched it.
The only thing I know about it is our mother had
Our
the
mother.
soundtrack, I think.
Oh, so she likes it.
Jacob, I'm glad you're
Hey,
back.
I'm here.
Jake, we're glad you're back because we have no clue how to talk about it.
Okay, you done with X-Men? All right,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
my number 2 movie is called Cold Mountain. It's a Civil War movie. Have any of you guys ever seen it? Okay, I guess
I just remember this scene where it's during the Civil War. I think
John would probably be a fan of the first 10 minutes, and
It's like-
and then
it's
probably
like-
sleep through the rest.
yeah, it's like isn't it like they're attacking Richmond in there? That
Yeah.
there's that huge explosion.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's actually the setup for the whole movie, John said, and it's an awesome scene. It's well done.
Yeah,
So yeah, during the siege of Richmond and the Battle of Petersburg and the Civil War, and this is this takes place end of the Civil War. The Richmond was falling, the Confederacy was about to surrender. That's actually a plot point in the movie. There was a battle in Petersburg, and there was an event called the Battle of the Crater, where Union troops snuck under Confederate lines and put like a ton of TNT and just blew up their
It was like
lines.
the biggest explosion like in the Civil War ever. Like
Yeah.
Oh,
And-
dang.
And so like 1,000 soldiers fell. The crater's still there. You can go see it.
Yeah.
It's outside of Richmond.
Dang.
And so if like 1,000 soldiers fell into this crater and fought to the death, and so that's where the movie begins. And Jude Law's character survives and is injured, and he pretty much says, "I've had enough." Then the movie flashbacks and shows that he's from this mountain town in North Carolina, and he fell in love with this woman you see here
Nicole Kidman.
on the screen, Nicole
Oh, that's
Kidman,
who it is. Yeah, sorry.
as most actors do, and and he says, you know what, forget this. We're losing the war, whatever. He deserts. And so the movie's about his journey back to North Carolina, and it's also about her trying to survive in the town of Cold Mountain. And her father dies, and she doesn't know how to run the farm. So they this other woman who's played by Renée Zellweger comes in, and she's kind of like a tomboy, knows how to run the farm, and it's just kind of them trying to survive as their supply lines have long been cut off. They're struggling to survive because the South is just choked. And then it's also Inman's the Jude Law's character's story to get back home. And he's being hunted by Confederate agents, like Confederate Secret Service, because he deserted. Even though the war is over and the South has surrendered, this one guy who's played by Charlie Hunman, the guy from Sons of Anarchy and
Oh,
Pacific Rim,
dang.
yeah,
Yeah.
he just kind of has the vendetta. He wants to catch this one last straggler, so he's being hunted. And along the way, he just has all sorts of misadventures. A big character in the movie, he meets a priest who was cast out from his by his parishioners for sins, and he's played by Philip Seymour Hoffman. So he's kind of a bumbling.
Stacked cast.
Yeah, he's a bumbling idiot that's with him for a bit of the movie. You've also got like Donald Sutherland's in there. Natalie Portman has a small role. Brendan Gleeson, who you might know as like Mad Eye Moody's, in there in a pretty large role. It is pretty stats cast. It's kind of a sad movie. It's just about these people, these Southerners who have just kind of lost everything and these are mountain people. They're not farmers. They're not plantation workers. They just ended up in the war because of where they live. Yeah. So, and that's a really interesting point where none of them care about slavery. None of them had slaves or anything like that. Like I said, they were mountain people from North Carolina, and they just, got mixed up in this whole conflict, and their lives are just awful because of it. And yeah, it's just his journey to get home. I saw this movie probably when I was too young to see it, because my dad is a huge Civil War buff and taught me and my brother a lot about it from a young age. And growing up in Maryland, we're just surrounded by this history of this war that happened here. The movie's really good. Probably another movie like Master and Commander that would have appealed to the voters of the Academy if Lord of the Rings hadn't just done the best thing ever that year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of bleak. Doesn't really have a nice ending. Sucks. You're not really gonna have a fun time watching it. Wait, did you watch? I'm surprised we didn't watch this when we were going alphabetically through movies. Maybe I don't
know how we would have not, but yeah.
Maybe I didn't have it at the time or something.
Maybe you must not have had it.
Yeah. Anyways, it is a really well made movie, and it certainly has a lot of questions about like war and desertion and what it like means, to fight for a cause if you don't really believe in it. Just a lot of philosophical musings like that, and a lot of good acting. So I'm a fan.
My question is, what's the soundtrack like? Because only thing I know about is our mother had the soundtrack for some reason.
Music, I don't know.
No, was there like actual like singing, like folk
No.
songs or something? No?
I don't think so. I think it's just a score. Yeah.
Huh. That's
Interesting.
weird. Maybe I'm remembering wrong, man.
You need to ask her about it.
Yeah,
Wade,
that
and
seems
give us
really
an
that
update.
seems weird. Why would you have a soundtrack
Yeah.
for that
Well,
movie?
I mean, it could have. They used to do things with movies like, maybe there's two, like, I don't think there's like folk songs that play over like the scenes, like the score. But I mean, there's music in the movie. You know what I mean? Like, because they're living, life in 1864,
Yeah.
1865. So maybe that's like they use the movie as to make like an album of folk music. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
Yeah, maybe.
yeah, that might
Yeah. Okay. Well,
that might
anyway.
be it.
Cool.
I'm looking at the back that I have the case here, and I see executive music producer is T-Bone Burnett, and he is a well-known name in the folk scene.
Okay.
He's mainly known for curating the soundtrack for "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou."
See, that's what she also had the "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou" soundtrack.
So I'm guessing
that does make sense.
I'm guessing that they
Gotcha.
used this movie to try and capitalize on that and release another folk CD.
Dang.
So
Weird.
look at us investigating.
Yeah, look at that.
Wow.
That's pretty
That's
cool.
insane. Cool,
Okay.
Jake. I'll add it to my list.
Okay, guys. We're gonna hold off on my number 2 for a little bit. We might see it in a little bit. We're gonna head on to honorable mentions of 2003.
I love these PowerPoints, Wade.
Thank you. Yeah, I put a lot of effort into these. So.
I know you do.
All right, let's get it going. You guys know the drill. We always start with Disney animated original films of 2003. A lot more sequels again. A lot of these first few years have been just like sequels of older movies.
Yeah, weird.
You got 101 Dalmatians 2, Patch's London Adventure. You got The Jungle Book 2. You got Piglet's Big Movie. And then you got Kim Possible, A Stitch in Time, which was a Disney Channel. One of my honorable mentions on here is Stitch the Movie. This is basically like the movie that kicked off the show. It was
True.
after the original. I loved this one more than the original, to be honest with you, because
Wow.
I loved the idea of like the little pods and they get wet and it's got each, Stitch's number 626, right? And there's what happened to the other 625,
Oh, yeah.
it's just cool. And, it starts with the electrical one and it's like all these aliens with different basically powers. And I love the one little one who's 625, I think, and he just like eats sandwiches. But you find out a lot later that he's got all the same powers as Stitch. So anyway, yeah, I love that one.
I love that. I remember that way. It's classic. Yeah.
And then one of Jacob's honorable mentions here is Brother Bear.
Brother Bear.
Classic. I just watched this recently as well.
Yeah,
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
How about that?
Wow.
Yeah, I like that movie.
Yeah, I think Phil Collins did the music for this as well as Tarzan.
Yes.
So
Yep,
yeah,
he did.
that's pretty cool.
That's a good one. It's fun.
Yeah, I think Brother Bear kind of deserves to be in the next tier up of like Disney movies, but I know it's the first like tier down. But yeah,
Yeah.
We need a live action remake
no,
with
No,
bring
no.
Joaquin
No.
Phoenix back.
No.
No.
they're
No.
bears.
They're bear.
Dude, I'm joking.
I know.
That would be terrible.
Yeah. So guys, we also got those other Disney movies we were talking about earlier. This is why I was like, Holes must be just goofy. Because look, you got Freaky Friday, The Haunted Mansion, Inspector Gadget 2, the Lizzie McGuire movie,
Yep.
and of course Finding Nemo.
And
But
that's
yeah.
the thing. I think Holes was made with as to be on the same like tier as like Freaky Friday and
Right.
Haunted
That's-
Mansion.
Yeah, Freaky Friday was a funny movie. It was a.
Yeah.
It was
It's
pretty good
just
movie.
the kind of fact that
Classic. Yeah.
it was based on a really good book that just kind of accidentally made it better.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
We're
fun.
getting a sequel to one of these this year. Freakier Friday.
Great.
Same cast, which is kind of wild. Like
Yeah.
22 years later. That's crazy to me.
Awesome.
Wild.
Wow.
Wow.
Do you guys ever watch the Matthew Broderick Inspector
No.
Gadgets? I didn't either.
Yeah, I watched the first one. I love the first one,
Oh, okay.
They're
Nice.
so
Inspector
stupid.
Gadget. But
Even when I was a
gosh.
kid, I knew they were stupid.
they were bad.
That's funny.
I watched them a lot.
Is he a robot? What is he? A cyborg?
Inspector
He's,
Gadget Cam. It's like,
Inspector
yeah, he
Gadget.
just got like little things coming out.
Oh.
Anyway, other kids movies. We got Nickelodeon, of course. Rugrats Go Wild. That's when the Rugrats and the Wild Thornberries mixed together. You got two Scooby Doo movies actually. Scooby Doo and the Legend of the Vampire and the Monster.
Jake,
of
that's my
Mexico.
favorite one.
Which
What?
one?
That's my favorite Scooby Doo. The
Which
Legend
one?
of the Vampire. Yeah.
That one.
You don't like that one?
That's
That one
garbage.
Isn't that with the rock and roll band? Am I
Yeah,
correct?
yes.
Yeah, love that one.
Yeah, this is post Mook Scooby Doo. It's gonna be garbage.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I think I agree with
You also got Pokemon Heroes, the movie. You like that one, Jacob, or no?
No, I didn't. And that was my brother's favorite, and I didn't like it, and that's the
Oh,
only one he
dang.
wanted to watch. So.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
Also, apparently, there
I'm
was
bringing the opinions out today.
Yeah,
It's
that's
I
fine.
like it. Yeah, I like
Bring
it.
it on. Yeah. Well, and then Charlotte's Web 2. Apparently, there was a sequel. Anyway,
Who cares?
of course, Sinbad. We talked about that was the only DreamWorks one that came out, and then Agent Cody Banks.
Yes,
I
Love
should-
that movie.
I used to
Okay.
watch it a lot.
I think we all need to honorable Cody Banks. I totally forgot. about
Yeah,
that.
I agree. We should all.
It's a
Yeah,
classic.
That was awesome. I love that
Mhm.
movie.
And then Jacob, Spy Kids 3, Game Over.
Oh, it's
Spy
back.
Kids 3D, game over, guys. Spy Kids is so good. We have to watch.
I,
That.
I never
no.
watched the third one.
Oh, they're so
Week 3
great.
of us talking about Spy Kids.
This one has Elijah Wood and like
Yeah.
who
Yeah,
else?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
This one,
it has
also has Glenn Powell as like a 14-year-old.
yeah.
What?
Oh, nice.
It was his first movie. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so this movie they go into a game and they go into the game and they have to beat the game. It's so good, guys. You have no idea. And there's
Yeah.
so many
Sylvester Stallone's in it.
iconic things from this movie. Sylvester Stallone, Ricardo Montalban,
Yeah, he's
Antonio Banderas, Steve Buscemi.
What the freak?
It's so stacked. Stallone is the
stacked
villain.
cast.
He's
Like, I'm
the
like,
game maker. Oh yeah, he's guys. These movies are so good. You have no idea. Imagine Book of Boba Fett, but you're not angry watching it. and then you'll have a great time. Yeah, I remember getting the VHS for this, and it had 3D glasses with it. But the movie
Nice.
wasn't in 3D. You just looked at it in different colors.
That's
But
funny.
yeah, guys, I love that movie. And yeah, Looney Tunes back in action. Have you guys seen that?
yes, I watched that a lot as well.
Haven't seen
Yes,
it.
John.
I love that movie.
You guys probably would have gotten in trouble for watching this movie.
Little
It's
risque kids movie.
it's James Bond. It's Looney Tunes' answer to like James Bond and Austin Powers.
Yeah.
And
Oh, okay.
and it's yeah, it's pretty much a cross country Vegas type movie with the Looney Tunes and spies
Brendan
and
Fraser.
yeah, Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser. That's funny.
It's
It's
like the
and-
Muppets movie where they're
Is it-
like in the real world.
is it
type
Pierce
deal.
Brosnan or Timothy Dalton? It's one of the Bonds plays his dad.
I think,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
one of
That's
them.
funny.
It's one of the two. But and his dad was like a spy in a movie, and he finds
Yeah.
out he wasn't a real spy, and he was like, but then then he finds out he was a real spy, and it's just so funny.
It
And
is.
and the Looney Tunes are just outrageous in it. You guys would probably find it funny now, but
That's
Oh,
cool.
the biscuits are burning.
yeah.
Dang.
All right. Got a few Universal films. Not a great year for Universal, but there was, of course, Seabiscuit,
See, my sisters
Seabiscuit.
loved Seabiscuit.
Tobey Maguire,
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Peter Pan with oh shoot, what's the guy's name who played Captain Hook in this? But
no
no,
clue.
it's- this one's okay. It's
Okay.
it's my wife's favorite version of Peter Pan.
Dang.
Better than
Um,
Hook? I don't know.
Too Fast, Too Furious, and John, the Cat in the Hat.
The cat in the
That movie's so
John,
sus, dude.
John, you did not honorable mention the
Yeah,
cat.
I watched
Yes,
this
I
at your house, John. It was traumatized. Remember watching this at your house and having
This
nightmares
movie's
about the
so
cat in the hat.
sus, too.
I loved it. I still
Oh
enjoy
my
it.
Far
God.
too many like butt scenes.
It
And,
mu- yeah. There's some
Okay,
good
the
funny-
funniest part from this movie is when they're about to crash into the tractor trailer and he breaks the fourth wall and he's like, Rhode Island tag. You never see those.
I forgot about that
Oh,
scene.
gosh.
That's good.
Okay, so
I
when
love
I
when
was
he-
a kid, I didn't know what son of a
Yeah.
meant because it was always bleeped on
Bleeped
TV. And in this movie, he cuts his tail off while he's cooking, and he says "son of a," and then they bleep it in the movie, like it's in the movie, like as
Yeah.
a joke.
Yeah.
And then we were watching another show. Maybe my parents were watching Law and Order or something. But somebody was like, "That's son of a gun," and I was like, "So that's the word." So I thought "gun" was a bad
Yeah.
word when I was a kid because of this movie.
Oh my goodness.
dude.
There's so many. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like Deadpool almost, where he's just doing the craziest stuff, breaking the
Doing
fourth
weird
wall, coming in different costumes, you know.
And who else is in it? It's what's his name?
Alec Baldwin,
Yeah, he's like super fit. You see him, but then he goes home and he has something to hold his belly in. He takes off and his belly just comes out.
Oh
he's a bum. He's just sitting at home, like.
Oh yeah.
The babysitter.
Oh man.
Also, somehow this movie's very stylized as well. You know, it's very Dr. Seussy somehow, but in live action, kind of like the Grinch. They're going for that.
I think that's one of the reasons why I liked it so much was because of the style.
Yeah, unfortunately, John's right. This movie does have a couple things going for it, but it has 10 other things that make you just want to point a gun to your head while watching it.
Oh man, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Good pick, John.
Certainly one of the biggest swings of all time.
It was a big swing.
Okay, superhero movies of 2003. Of course, we got 3 actually.
Dang.
Did you guys ever see this Hulk movie? This thing is rough.
Yeah.
Super weird.
It's a pretty rough one, but it's
Eric Bana, bring him back.
Yeah.
Secret Wars.
Oh no.
I like how this Hulk, every time you shoot him, he'd like just get bigger and bigger.
And he kind of flies too, because he jumps extremely far.
Yeah, he's super OP in this one.
Oh man!
And then his dad becomes Electro or something.
No,
that movie was.
He's
so
the
weird.
Absorbing Man.
Absorbing Man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Nick Nolte, right?
Yeah.
Nick Nolte.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Of course, we talked about X2. That was all of our honorable mentions, and then Cam, Daredevil.
Let's go! I love this movie. I love it so much. You can't change my mind. Ben Affleck. This is pre-Batman Ben Affleck and his soon-to-be wife, right? Jennifer Garner.
Garbage.
This is where they fell in love. So,
how he couldn't even see her.
Obviously, the movie really sucks, but I had to put it on here because I watch it every so often just to get that like early 2000s vibe out of my system. You know, like he sleeps in a coffin. You know, it's just like, what is this? What are they doing? Jon Favreau's in it, and he's Foggy Nelson, so that's kind of weird.
Oh, that's funny.
And then Jon Favreau sits next to Daredevil in Spider-Man No Way Home, so that was kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. It was kind of a funny, weird cameo type weird thing back then when No Way Home came out. So yeah,
I remember seeing this
the playground scene, John.
The playground scene.
On the playground.
That scene is stupid. That is bad. That is awful. Like I was like, it took me out of it. I was like, even when I was younger, I was like, this is something else.
Yeah,
like,
it's rough. You also have Colin Farrell as Bullseye.
Yes, Bullseye. I did like him as Bullseye.
Oh my word, they have like every character from Daredevil.
Yeah, and Kingpin too, but he's what's his face from
Michael.
I liked him as Kingpin.
Rest in peace.
Yeah,
that dude was an actor.
I liked him as Kingpin. I thought he did a great job as Kingpin. Honestly.
Yeah, and he looked the part for sure.
He did look the part, and he was like super strong. Like it was like he was really believable. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
cool. That guy's best movie is still Ballad of Ricky Bobby, though. But
dang.
Okay, guys, we also there's a bunch of classics, action adventure movies from 2003. Actually, this one kind of shocked me. Actually, 3 Matrix titles came out in 2003.
That's crazy.
Matrix Reloaded, Matrix Revolutions, and Animatrix all came out in 2003. From everything I was reading,
did
which
they
is kind
film
of crazy
back
that they
to back,
released both movies. Yeah, back to back. But Matrix Reloaded, that one is my I love the scene. The one I always think of is when he's on the rooftop with the lady with the pigeons or whatever, and he fights a bunch of people.
All the Smiths.
Yeah, all the Smiths.
Actually I like the sequels. I didn't think anything differently. You know what I mean? At watching them as a kid.
I don't remember the third one very well.
But I think the third one was the worst one. But the second one, it started off pretty good, but like I don't know, there were some scenes I remember I was like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know 28 Days Later came out this year.
Yep.
I would have put that as an honorable mention.
Okay.
Actually really liked that. Watched that a few months ago. It's basically Robert Kirkman copied whoever made this. Making The Walking Dead, because it's the same story. So a little different, obviously, but
interesting.
They're not
guy
zombies.
wakes up from
like I said. Yeah.
They're infected.
They're like,
yeah.
Yeah, they're infected. They're just like infected people, like almost like rabies, just spraying the virus. That's all they're doing. Yeah.
It's a little different. He wakes up and he was in a car accident. Cillian Murphy wakes up and the apocalypse has happened. You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
In England.
yeah. But he was kind of a bum before, and like kind of finds his place after the like he's like kind of comes into his own because of the apocalypse. You know. But we're getting a sequel to that this year as well, so that's crazy. Freakier Friday and 28 Days Later, we're getting sequels this year, so that's kind of funny to think about.
Well, you know, and you said Freakier Friday is the same actresses. It's Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis. 28 Days Later, this new one is the same writer and the same director. Alex Garland and Danny Boyle both came back to make this new one.
Yeah,
so pretty interesting.
And
I've never seen
Cillian Murphy's coming back as a cameo, but then a main character in the next one, apparently. So that's what they said.
I'll definitely go see this one in theaters. The new one, 28 years later.
Yeah, it looks good.
Cool. Yep. So then, Jacob, Memories of Murder.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is neither action nor adventure.
Oh, is it not?
It's kind of like a dark thriller, kind of a sad movie. It's based on a true story. So this is an early movie from Bong Joon-ho. Who you guys probably know from Parasite. He just had Mickey 17 come out. And he also Snowpiercer's a movie.
Snowpiercer, let's go.
But this is an earlier movie of his. It's based on a true story about Korea's pretty much first and most prolific serial killer, and it's about the detectives who were stuck with the case as they even realized what a serial killer was and came to terms that someone like that would be operating in South Korea. Because when you think about it, serial killers are a very American thing. It's really weird. So when another country has one, it's kind of a big deal. So they it's about as they go through this investigation. When they made the movie, they still hadn't caught the guy. So the movie ends with a very kind of sobering, open-ended, like we'll never get him. And the movie actually ends with an iconic appeal. The movie ends with the main character breaking the fourth wall and looking into the camera. And Bong Joon-ho's intent was, he was like, I'm sure the killer is going to watch the movie, so I want to let him know we're looking for him and we're going to find him. It ends with a really chilling fourth wall break. That's just become, like iconic. It's probably one of the most iconic things from Korean cinema and of all fourth wall breaks that aren't Deadpool. And anyways, they've since caught the guy. They used DNA to catch him like 10 years ago. They asked him if he saw the movie, and he says, I watched it and I felt nothing. So it didn't work.
It didn't.
Wow.
This iconic shot that's been dissected for 25 years since this movie came out, and the guy they were trying to get was like, eh.
Well, of course. I mean, they're serial killers. They have no emotions. So,
but the whole thing's in Korean. It's a fully Korean movie. This was before he came to the U.S. and started making partial English movies. Before, and actually a couple full English movies like Mickey 17. If you're ever trying to get into want to watch some foreign movies, this is a pretty crazy watch.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't know if it was.
That's okay. I didn't really tell you what it was.
Stuff together,
Kristen,
anyway,
I think she's seen this. She liked it.
Did he do Train to Busan as well, Jake, or no?
He did not.
No.
Okay.
I don't know who made that, but I know it wasn't him.
Okay.
Another one I put on here was Tomb Raider, just because I'm a video game guy. Lara Croft, Tomb Raider. This is a sequel, Cradle of Love.
First one, really.
But
I saw the new remake. That's it, or maybe that's not the same thing. I don't know.
No, it's that's not Angelina Jolie, but yeah.
Yeah, same character.
Cam, Kill Bill.
Kill Bill Volume 1, baby. I love this movie. This was almost in the top. Quentin Tarantino, actually really love Quentin Tarantino. I know that might be controversial, but I love most of his movies. This one's just a classic. Uma Thurman. Like, dang, Uma Thurman's pretty awesome in this. I don't know what happened. She just disappeared from Hollywood. Like, props to her for sure. Obviously, her daughter's famous now in Stranger Things and such. But love this movie. It's just a classic like revenge story, And pretty cool. Like the kung fu aesthetic, the old like Japanese style of like the blood and stuff. Like, and yeah, I just watch this movie. It might not be for everybody, but I really like it.
It's pretty violent.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah, pretty
Cam,
violent.
I love Tarantino, and I've seen most of his movies, but I've never seen either of the Kill Bills.
What?
We should
I
sit
know.
down and
This
watch
is-
him.
I
These
know.
are my dad's
dude.
favorites as well. These are my
I
dad's
know,
favorite.
and I've been through
yeah.
this with your dad too, and he's been like, he said the same thing. What? I know I need to get on it, and especially since I'm like you, I love Tarantino. The only movies of his I haven't seen are Jackie Brown and the Kill Bills and the Hateful Eight.
Jackie Brown's
Yeah.
rough. I watched it and I was
Okay.
like, it
dude,
is very
Reservoir
Quentin
Dogs,
Tarantino.
Pulp Fiction,
Yeah.
Django. I mean, I love these movies.
He has
Glorious
few-
Bastards,
You
you know, I love those movies. So
very.
I'm
This is
sure I would love it.
this is even more hyper stylized because he's
Oh,
pulling
yeah.
from
But I
like
love it,
Japanese
you know.
cinema. So I love it, you know. Yeah.
I love the interview where he's talking about this movie, and someone's interviewing him, and she's almost angry at Tarantino. She's like, "Why so much violence? Why so much gore?" And he's just like, "Because it's fun." And it's like that's his whole thing. And
That's hilarious.
That's funny.
It's like you don't have to watch it if you I don't know.
But here's the thing about Tarantino's violence from the movies I've seen is it's so over the top.
It is over the
I
top.
get that it
Yeah.
grosses some people out.
It's
but
almost
is-
like comic book.
it
But
is
it's dumb in
comic-
this. It's
comic-
comically
yeah.
dumb. You know, where it's like spraying out, you know, it's just
Yeah.
you know, you can tell it's fake.
Wow. All right, John, you got two here: League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and SWAT.
John, I've never seen this movie. I've heard it's like the
I-
worst movie ever made. That's what I've heard.
Which
my
one?
grandma- League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It's pretty rough. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's bad, but you know it's a bad movie that I enjoy watching. But so like my
That's
grandma,
okay. Yeah.
my grandma had it at her house, and every time we'd come over, like we'd always like put it on, and so Sean Connery is just like Sean Connery, like you know, he's a great actor. Any scene he's in, you're like, gosh, he's so awesome. But then you know some of these other scenes, you're like, oh, this is bad. This is not good. Like the CGI is bad, and it takes place in like 1899, and so it's like almost like Moriarty. He's in it, and he's like
interesting.
trying to start a world war. And you have Dr. Jekyll, you have Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and then you have like Nemo, Captain Nemo. It is
What?
like all over the place. It is so weird. It's so random. And
It's
you
like
have,
pulling from classic
and
literature,
what's his
like
face?
everything. Yeah.
What's that? That's that character. He's like he's that writer. There's a painting of him. And if he sees the painting, he dies. Like, yeah, what's his name?
Yeah, Dorian Gray.
Dorian Gray. Yes, he's in it
Oh.
as well. There's all these like weird all these characters come together to like be.
Huh. It sounds like a good idea, but
But it didn't. It's like it didn't wasn't executed good. Well,
It kind
It
of
was
reminds me of like
freaking-
Van Helsing, like that type of vibe.
yes, but
Yeah.
I prefer Van Helsing over.
Really?
over this one.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
So.
Cool, Jay.
But yeah, and
and
SWAT. I love SWAT. When I was younger, it was always on FX. FX showed this movie a ton.
I love
John, you've
old
said that about a
movie.
lot of movies. I think you were always on FX. I think that's the truth of it.
Dude, FX. FX. I enjoy FX. I like FX. They, especially now these days, like they've been putting out great shows. But yeah, the SWAT was always on, and I was like, dude, this is like the cool. These are so cool. These are the coolest people. This is like the coolest job you could have when I was younger.
Colin Farrell.
And SWAT, the movie, like, because it's a Colin Farrell, Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
Who else? Jeremy Rayner's in it. He's really young in this movie. He plays the bad guy. But yeah,
Hawkeye and Nick Fury.
yeah, it's up there for me. It's over the top, but I still love it.
Nice.
Nice.
So yeah.
Yeah, and our last one on here is Jacob and I both honorable mention Secondhand Lions. For some reason, I watched this a lot growing up. I don't know why. But yeah, it's a pretty good little kind of a cheesy movie. This city kid comes and lives with his two crazy redneck uncles who apparently had a history back, traveling the world and stuff and finding gold and treasure and all this. But yeah, it's pretty good.
It's fun.
This movie would blow chunks if it weren't for the absolute masterclass in acting from Michael Caine and Robert Duvall throughout the entire movie. They just carry this on their shoulders, and you could sit and watch them on the porch for the entire length of the movie. And that would be fun.
And
that's so true. When all the salesmen come,
does the kid grow up to be the Calvin and Hobbes artist? Is that what they're kind of saying? I don't know. Because he draws the whole movie, like the lion in him, but then by the end you realizing it
Hobbes
looks exactly
is a tiger.
like. Yeah, I know, but I'm saying, did they just switch it to be a lion? You know what I mean?
I don't think it has anything to do with
I
Calvin and Hobbes.
I don't think that's part of it.
Really?
No,
I don't think so.
I always thought that for some reason. I don't know why.
No.
But okay, change the subject. Sorry.
No,
What he's drawing them? It's literally, go look at it. It's exactly like Calvin and Hobbes. Let me look this up here.
Okay, you look it up, Cam. We do have a dishonorable mention for the first time on the pod.
The Room.
Jacob, would you like to dishonorable mention?
This is.
You don't like this movie? This is the best movie of all time.
This is the worst movie ever made. Here's the thing. Now, Cam, I'm gonna say there's bad movies that are just so bad that you can't even fathom watching them because they're incoherent and the acting is wooden and the story makes no sense. All of that is true with The Room, but every scene is one disaster after another, and you can't take your eyes off of it. It's certainly going to be the most entertaining 90 minutes you ever have, but you're also going to want to take a hot shower with a lot of soap afterwards.
It's awful.
'Cause you're just going to feel grimy from all the weird things that happen in this movie. Pretty much what happens is this guy wants to get married to his girlfriend, but his girlfriend is into his best friend. That's the plot. It doesn't.
But he might be a vampire. He's possibly a vampire.
Might be a vampire. Yeah. There are entire subplots that are introduced in one scene and never followed up on again. Every line seems to be re-recorded over what they recorded when they filmed it. So the mouths aren't really matching what they're saying.
Yeah.
The acting is awful. Story beats come and go. Like I said, it's really explicit. Don't watch this movie, by the way.
Yeah, it's really explicit. It's really disgusting.
It's practically just it will shock you to your core. If you didn't know a kid who had this on DVD when you were in high school, you're probably lucky because he didn't have to go to a sleepover at his house and watch it every time you did.
Wow. Yikes.
But yeah, this is far and away the worst movie ever made. But it's also the best worst movie ever made because it's also iconically quotable and
where's
really
my money,
funny.
Denny?
Where's my money,
Denny?
Denny?
A movie made about the production.
And then about almost probably 8 years ago now, James Franco made a movie about the making of this movie, and it's really good. It's a great story about the people who made it. The movie about the making is legit. I think it won like a Golden Globe. James Franco's phenomenal in it. So is his brother.
We got to talk about one thing about this movie is like the mysteriousness behind it. Like nobody knows who Tommy Wiseau is. The guy, he acted in it, he directed it, he wrote it, and he produced it, and he funded it. And like nobody knows where he got his money. Like he says he's American, but he's definitely
not. There's no birth records. Yeah. Nobody knows where he came from. He's
just like this weird rich guy that made his own movie. So yeah, very weird.
It's history, but dishonorable.
Okay, nice.
Little update here. I did Google it. While Secondhand Lions isn't directly based on Calvin and Hobbes, there is a suggestion that it's based off of Bill Watterson, the creator of Calvin and Hobbes' childhood. So I was right.
Huh.
Yeah.
Never.
That's
heard
why
of
they
that.
changed. They changed it to a lion. You know what I mean? But it was a tiger in real life.
Gotcha.
He drew himself playing with. He changed it to a tiger for his drawings, basically.
Gotcha.
I don't know,
Interesting.
but suggested. So it's not really 100%. But yeah, that's what I always thought. So sorry.
Yeah. So our final mentions of 2003 here. Cheaper by the Dozen. It's both my and Jacob's honorable mention. This movie, about a family. They have 12 kids in the family. And I always thought it was funny because Cam and I have some second cousins. They have 13 kids in their family. And
Yeah.
I always thought, like, this is probably how their house is, super chaotic and everything. But, good message in it and good heart. And it's a fun comedy. So.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, I love
Tom,
this one.
and it's Tom Welling's Smallville, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Nice. Love it.
So Jacob, this one in School of Rock.
Yeah, I mean, School of Rock is a great movie. I'm sure you guys know it.
Yeah.
It holds up really well. Super entertaining, super funny. Also a pretty good message.
Nice.
Love that one too.
All right, I always have to throw in a weird little thing I noticed based on the movies. 2-word alliteration films of 2003. The same consonant, 2 letters. So you got Bad Boys 2, Beyond Borders,
Bad Boys.
Biker Boys, Brother Bear, Freaky Friday, Hollywood Homicide, Matchstick Men, Super Sucker, and Sweet 16. So if you can believe it,
Bad Boys. What you gonna do? Yeah, it is weird how by the years there's a trend for some
I know.
reason
I always find
within that
weird,
year. Yeah.
I'll always try to find one, but I have to get some crazy random people.
Here we go.
So of course I got Aaron.
Here we go.
From the second place, and these are actually
nice.
These are his second place picks because his number 1 pick would be Return of the King.
Sure.
But his second place picks here were Last Samurai and Big Fish, which I think.
Which
is
Aaron
a Tim
is
Burton
this?
movie.
Is this?
You know him. Second place.
Oh, Aaron
Cam.
Clark.
Yeah.
Oh,
second place.
I got you. Yeah, second place
Get
music.
me that's his music. Yeah.
I got you. Sorry, I was confused.
And then,
okay, yeah, Aaron Clark. Nice.
I did get my wife's pick. She's picked How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days because she says we don't have enough female interactive picks.
Nice.
So
what? Much? I have a lot.
Besides you, John, but you didn't have one this week, so I had to get one. You didn't have one.
2003 was
true.
rough for John. He didn't have a chick flick this year. Sorry, John.
He didn't have a chick flick pick. All right, guys. Last thing here. What comedy do you think made it to number 5 this year for the top 5 grossing movies?
Oh.
You know how we always have. It's always like 4 action movies and then a comedy is number 5.
I don't
know.
An American Pie movie?
Jim Carrey.
No.
What?
The Mask.
Bruce
Lord of the Rings:
Bruce
Return of
Almighty.
the King was obviously number 1 at 377 million. Then Finding Nemo, number 2 at 339. Pirates of the Caribbean, which we might talk about later, 305 million. The Matrix Reloaded, 281 million, and then number 5, of course, a comedy, Bruce Almighty with Jim Carrey, 242 million.
Nice.
And that
Dang, that's crazy.
wraps up the honorable mentions. And like I said, we'll talk about this now. This is our one overlap of the night. This is my number 2 and Cam's number 1.
Let's go.
Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl.
I just did a full watch through of all of them, even the new ones, and I just love Johnny Depp. You know, Johnny too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it your honorable mention too, John?
Yeah.
All good. But the first one is the best one in my opinion. That might be weird, controversial. Some people like the freaky 2 and 3. Some people might like the depressing 4 and 5, where Johnny Depp's super sad in those.
Looking back, 2 and 3, people were like at the time were like I didn't like it as much, but
I love them.
Now, I'm like they're actually pretty good. They hold up.
And the CGI is awesome.
Dude, the CGI in those films were awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, just a classic Jerry Bruckheimer production. You know, this feels like Disney to me. This is what Disney should be. You know, like National Treasure, Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, what has happened? I don't know. They tried it with other stuff. I mean, Tron, you know, maybe Tron can help us out here this year, Tron Ares. But, you know, I think Johnny Depp, you know, his acting in this is next level. I mean, the comedic timing, he's the worst, but yet he's the best pirate of all time. I just love that. I love how he's always like, it's always like hijinks, right, Wade? I don't know how you feel about it, Wade.
Oh yeah, he's like one of the best characters in like all of cinema is Jack Sparrow
Iconic.
for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, everything from like the music with the pirate, there's a curse and there's a gold and treasure buried somewhere, and oh
Yep.
man, it's
This is
so,
all based off of a ride at Disney World,
well, which
right?
is funny because they did the Country Bears last 2002. It's just weird that they like decided to make all their rides out of
Yeah.
into movies.
The Haunted
But, I mean,
Mansion
hey,
also.
Yeah.
yeah,
They
Haunted
tried to
Mansion
do
was
Jungle Cruise did not do too well, though.
that was
Yeah.
many years later. They missed their chance. They should have done it back during
They
this
should
time.
have done it way back when, yeah.
Guys, this movie is so good that a movie based on a theme park ride with Disney pirates sounds so stupid, but it was so good that it's universally acclaimed. It got Johnny Depp an Oscar nomination for his performance in this
Dang,
movie.
seriously?
Yep, he was
It was
nominated
so
for
good.
Best Actor this year. And he stood a fair shot too. I think he actually won the Golden Globe. This movie is just all around beloved for an obvious reason. It's
So good.
just a classic 50s, 60s style swashbuckling adventure with comedy that our generation would like. They don't make movies like this then. They hardly make movies like this now. It's a perfect combination. I love 2 and 3 also. You're going to be hearing from me, I think, when we get to Dead Man's Chest about that movie.
Nice.
But you're right, Cam, that this is full send the best of the series. Just a tight screenplay, awesome action, great characters.
The quality
music,
is insane.
the
Real
directing.
boats, real water.
Yeah, everything was real, pretty much.
Why
Just
is it
this
so
is
bad now?
This is a perfect movie. It's
Yeah.
there's no other way to put it.
Have you heard because I for the longest time I never understood the second and third movie, like the reason why the East Trading Company was after him, Jack and
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
and
They
Is it a
because
plot
of, like,
hole?
no, it's not a plot hole. It was
No.
actually a deleted scene.
but it explains a lot. You're like, oh my goodness, why would they delete this? This makes so much more sense.
Oh,
The reason why they're after Jack and
yeah.
And it's great that you mentioned like why is
It's
he
the compass,
best
right?
and the worst pirate. No, it's not the compass. It's the origin of the Black Pearl. So he owes Davy Jones 100 souls, right?
That's
So
right. Yeah.
There's a deleted scene where Cutler Beckett tells Jack Sparrow, I chartered you before he was a pirate. I chartered you to deliver 100 slaves, and you set them free. And Jack Sparrow says, "People aren't cargo, mate." And this is a deleted scene. So Jack Sparrow freed 100 slaves, and
Dang.
now his ship was burned and sunk into the bottom of the ocean, and he along with it. And
That's
he
why he
made a
makes
deal with Davy Jones to
Jones.
bring it back up. And it came back up all burnt. It was black.
that's why in the beginning, in the first movie, everybody's like, what the heck is this ship doing here? Like, that's why people are scared of it, because it's not supposed
Yeah.
to be.
Dang, why did they?
Yeah, and that's why people are so scared of it. That's like
It's one of the most
very-
iconic deleted scenes of all time.
Yeah,
because
it's like,
it
that
totally
makes so
drives
much
home
more
the
sense.
point that Jack
Yeah.
Sparrow is a really
Yeah.
good person.
He's a good guy. Yeah.
And he does prove himself to be the good
Yeah.
guy.
Maybe they didn't want to fully dive into that. They wanted
That's
him
what
to
I'm
actually
thinking.
his arc to
Yeah.
go toward, like, he's all selfish at the beginning. Towards the third one, maybe a little bit. He's still a little selfish, but
because otherwise you find out in the middle of the second one that he's like an ultimate good guy. That he freed 100 slaves, and he doesn't really get the character arc. But other way, it's an awesome backstory that you can really enrich all the movies with. Because it's the backstory they were working with, it just didn't end up in the final cut, and it just makes you like Jack Sparrow that much more.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Final
Great
thoughts?
movie.
With
movie.
all of his ridiculous character beats,
Yep.
Yep. Definitely a defining movie of the early 2000s.
For sure.
All right, guys. My number one. I know this is going to be another
Paycheck?
controversial- Paycheck.
What?
Yeah, I know, Kim.
I
You
love
don't
it.
really like it, but dude,
No, I just watched it, I think.
yeah, I
Did
know.
not
and you gave it
What's
like
it called?
2-star. Paycheck.
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck, Uma Thurman again, which
Never
is
seen it.
crazy, in the same year. Kill
Yeah.
Bill and Paycheck.
Yeah,
Nice.
dude. He's basically, he's just like, he's a reverse engineer. He analyzes his clients and competitors' technology and recreates it with improvements. But he does this thing where his company offered him to wipe his memory for like a year or something, and he is working on a secret project
It's
for them.
Severance,
But
Jacob. It's basically Severance.
but then he wakes up and he has no memory of what happened. But all of his belongings are like switched out or something. And when he gets back, and he's like, "What the?" And then he finds out that he transferred the money away from himself to something else, and he's like, "Wait, why would I do that?" And so it follows the whole story, and basically
he's
he worked
trying
on
to pick it apart.
Yeah, he worked on like this big project where basically the people can see their own future. So yeah, it's really good. I think it's a great action movie. I always love watching it. It's got like all the good stuff, like funny. It's got baseball references. It's got good action. Paul Giamatti. I mean, come on. So
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I really like it, and it's got some good twists and stuff throughout. So just a classic Ben Affleck.
This is a rare occurrence. That's a new movie for me. I've never heard of this movie.
Never even heard of it?
Never even heard of it.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the plot of Severance, right?
It is a little bit. Yeah, he just gets one big paycheck. It's like a year or two of his life
where he won't remember anything.
He won't remember what he did, what he worked on. But then when he gets out, like everything's a mess, and he doesn't know why he did certain things. Because
he's sabotaging this really bad corporation. He realizes they're doing something fishy. They're doing something bad. That might be spoiling it, but yeah.
No, it doesn't spoil too much.
It's also kind of like Total Recall a little bit as well, where his past self is helping his future self. So it's like, oh, what the heck?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't have to talk too much about it. It's fun. I always liked watching it.
Amblin. Crazy.
Yep. All right. Jacob's number one.
I knew that.
All right, guys.
We all know. I was like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, that's gonna be Jacob's.
We're going hard on the Civil War tonight. Holes has that subplot that's post Civil War, and Cold Mountain is a Civil War movie, and so is this movie, which is my favorite movie of the year. Honestly, guys, I'm not gonna lie, I would put this above The Return of the King, just because of what it means to me. I'm not saying it's a better movie because it's not.
Say the name.
This is Gods and Generals. It is a movie about the first couple years of the Civil War. Technically, it's a prequel to the movie Gettysburg from the 90s. The movie Gettysburg just covers the story of Gettysburg, the battle which took place in 1863, halfway through the Civil War. That movie was based on a book called The Killer Angels, which is a Pulitzer Prize winner. And what the Killer Angels did that was different was the book is written as if it's a third-person narrative, like it's a novel. So what the author Michael Shara did with The Killer Angels was he wrote the story of Gettysburg from third-person point of view characters that were Robert E. Lee, James Longstreet, Joshua Chamberlain, people who were there in the battle, but he wrote it as if it were a novel, with their train of thoughts and their dialogue and everything like that. And it was praised for its historical accuracy and how it was able to make something as, boring as history class real and lifelike by diving into what these people were like. And most of the dialogue is lifted from official correspondence or memoirs written by the people. So while there's a couple, it's kind of like what The Chosen is for the Bible,
gotcha.
For the Gospels. It's kind of like that for Civil War records. Anyways, Michael Shara's son wrote a book called Gods and Generals. So Gettysburg, the movie, is based on the Killer Angels, and they just changed the name to Gettysburg to market it as a movie. But Michael Shara's son Jeff Shara wrote a prequel called Gods and Generals a couple years later, and they made that into a movie named Gods and Generals. And so it's the same thing, except instead of so it leads into Gettysburg. It starts with the beginning of the Civil War, with the succession of the Southern states. And the formation of the Confederate Army, and it leads into the month before Gettysburg. So it covers the first 2 or 3 years of the war, and from the point of view of characters who are real people, like Robert E. Lee, who's played by Robert Duvall here, and Joshua Chamberlain, who, while he didn't have a big role in the beginning of the Civil War, becomes a Union hero at Gettysburg. So it kind of tells his story as he slowly gets involved with the war. But what really makes Gods and Generals different was, you can see on the left here, that's Stephen Lang as Stonewall Jackson. He's practically the main character of this movie, and of the book Gods and Generals, because Stonewall Jackson was the military genius of the Confederacy. So this movie charts how he got involved with it to begin with. And you have to remember, all these people who were Confederate officers, not the enlisted men, but people like Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson, were USA military officers who had to make the decision to go against their country. And you can debate whether that decision was right or wrong. Most of these people have been open in their that we can read in their correspondence and their memoirs. Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson, not fans of slavery, but people who wouldn't take up arms against their home. And that's how the movie begins. Robert E. Lee is offered command of the U.S. Army to invade the rebellious states. And he says, I don't agree with what they're fighting for, but I will not invade my homeland. I just can't do it. So instead, he leads the defense of his homeland to begin with. This movie is 4 hours and 45 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
And that's the extended one. And that's how they wanted it to be. They had to cut it down by, like, I think an hour and a half to get it released into theaters, and the cut down version is a mess. But it's the version I grew up watching. So, you know, like I said, my dad taught us a lot about the Civil War and took us to all these places. So a movie like this and like Gettysburg was a way for me to kind of take what I had learned and actually see it in a movie, and kind of enjoy it and understand it. So I kind of grew up watching this movie and just kind of really being able to apply, like, understand what I had learned. And yeah, so in 2011, on the 150th anniversary of the Civil War, they premiered the extended version, which restored the hour and a half, made it nearly a 5-hour movie, but it makes a lot more sense. The plot breathes. The movie's told.
The Snyder Cut.
It's the Snyder Cut. It's the Snyder Cut. It's the Snyder Cut for the Civil War buffs.
Let's go.
For example, the movie was not well received because of it tells the story of Stonewall Jackson and Robert E. Lee. It got panned for its Confederate slant. It has, I think, maybe like 7 or 8% on Rotten Tomatoes. Wow. Universally panned movie by film critics, but by people in the Civil War movie, people who don't really watch movies, it's the gold standard of production. And it's the things that everybody agreed on, critics who didn't like the movie and people who are Civil War historians, are the performances, the production, the costumes, everything like that. This movie has I think the second, third, fourth, and fifth largest Civil War reenactments of all time filmed. The first one is Gettysburg, the first movie. So the largest Civil War reenactments ever are in these movies. And it's been praised for that authenticity, but most critics did not like the Confederate slant. And I do have to, you have to concede it's a hard thing to show these sympathetic characters and who were real people fighting for a cause that involved something as evil as slavery. It's really complicated, in this movie I think does a good job of showing how complicated it was, but unfortunately that's a non-starter for most people. But the movie's told in 5 parts, and it takes you through the Battle of Manassas, the Battle of Antietam, the Battle of Fredericksburg, and the Battle of Chancellorsville, and ultimately it ends with Stonewall Jackson's death. He was scouting ahead after the Battle of Chancellorsville, and he got caught returning through his own lines. He was shot by one of his own soldiers who thought he was a spy, and he died a couple of weeks later. I think not even from the gunshot, but I think he got sick from pneumonia or something. Just something complicated. So, and that's really what changed the Civil War, was Stonewall Jackson's death, because the dude was a military genius. He taught at Virginia Military Institute, and he was the reason the South didn't crumble in the first minutes of the war. and yeah, they were he was a big man of faith too, and that's a big part of the movie. And yeah, so the when they premiered the extended version, like I said, I loved this movie as a kid because my dad showed it to me and I just took to it. I loved it. So they had the premiere at George Mason University in 2011 of the extended version with the director and most of the actors. The three big actors weren't there. Stephen Lang wasn't there, Robert Duvall wasn't there, Jeff Daniels wasn't there, but most of the other cast was there. So we went and we saw the world premiere of the extended version of the movie.
Dang.
And so while we were there, we got we got this, which is a box. They sold the box later. Like you could buy this online, but you could buy it there too at the premiere. Yeah, and it has Gettysburgs and Gods and Generals. They released extended versions of each, so they're in there. But the really cool part is we got the cast to sign. You can see the signatures in there on the box set.
Dang.
So most of the cast signed it, of course, except for the really big A-listers that are in the movies. No Tom Berenger, no Jeff Daniels or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it's certainly one of my most prized possessions. I love these movies so much. I get why most people on Earth would never want to watch it. Either they're offended by the focus on the Confederacy, even though it's a pretty fair critique, I think, too. But just the fact that it's following these characters is a non-starter for most people. It's almost 5 hours. It's boring. I get it. But it's a subject that interests me and is personal to me. So it's the kind of thing that I can't even take for granted that it exists. And there's a couple really thrilling parts when they actually get to the battles. But yeah,
do you cry when you watch this movie?
I think if I sit down on the right day and watch the entire thing, I probably would. Gettysburg will get me at the end.
Dang.
The end of Gettysburg the end of Gettysburg is a good one. But
it's crazy that we all like live within this history. Like we grew up on Stonewall Road, Wade, and I live like 10, 15 minutes away from Appomattox Courthouse. So yeah, it is kind of interesting. That's cool that it's passionate. It's a passion for you, dude. So that's cool.
But the movie bombed so hard that they never made the third one. His son wrote a third book to round it out as a trilogy that took from the end of Gettysburg to the end of the Civil War, also from the same points of view of the same characters. So it's a whole trilogy that's the books are acclaimed. And they were going to make the third movie. But like I said, this thing was dead on arrival. Nobody liked it. Nobody went to go see it. And that was that.
Wow.
Yeah, I think this is like I said, it's pretty personal to me, and yeah, if you ever want a history lesson disguised as a movie, go for it.
Dang. All right, let's get to the last one of the night, everyone.
Let's go.
This is the long anticipated John's number one.
What? John, this is awful.
Dude, I like it more.
Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines is not his number one. That was a joke.
Oh.
His actual number one is...
I was like, no way.
Never. I would never do that.
Oh, what's his actual number one here, Cam? You know it.
Italian Job. Love this movie, JJ.
The entire podcast has been building to this moment. The Italian Job.
Italian Job.
I mean, that's literally John, the Italian Job.
John, you are the Italian Job. Your dad is the original Italian, the OG.
That is the original, the OG. I don't know. Like, I feel like everybody's seen. This is one of the few movies where I feel like everybody's seen this. Like, it's not like, oh, have you seen the Italian Job? It's like, no. It's like almost like yes, universally. It's like, it's always like yes, I've seen the Italian Job, and it's a great. It's a great heist movie.
Oh yeah,
awesome. I love heist movies, like anything like Ocean's 11 or 12 or Logan Lucky and this movie. Like I love a good heist movie, and you got Mark Wahlberg, young Mark Wahlberg. He's so young in this movie, Marky Mark, and then you got Jason Statham, and he's just the whole. I don't know what it is with this movie. Maybe it's the cars, the Mini Coopers, but like. It's just the whole premise of like
it's a vibe too.
It's a vibe. It is a vibe, and like getting revenge.
Yeah.
For like from their one one old friend that's killed their like
betrays them, right?
betrayed them. Yeah,
Yep.
killed their teacher and is like now they're like, all right, we want to steal from him. I don't know. It's great. It's a great movie. It shows. There's great scenes in it, like the opening when they're in Venice, the boat scene. You know, like the story is okay. Like it's nothing spectacular to write home about. It's not like, oh my gosh, I was so moved by the story. It's just like people wanting to steal gold from their friend who betrayed them, and that's pretty much it. There's nothing like, oh my gosh. But yeah, there's so many great scenes, you know, from the Venice scene to Spider-Man running away from from the the blast. I think that's such
funny.
a classic scene. But like, and the Mini Cooper's going down the subway and driving away from the helicopter.
All lined up, all
lined
perfectly.
up.
Yeah. Classic,
I mean, I don't
dude.
know, like it's great. Like all I love their backstories and how they came to be. It's a pretty good movie.
We have kind of a funny joke about this with like Johnny's basement growing up had the Italian Job poster, but John's mom cut out your dad's head, right?
I don't know if it was my mom or
who did it.
It was a friend of ours that did it. I can't remember.
Dude, I thought it was part of it for like first couple of years of my
growing
life.
I thought
he's in that movie. That's
I
crazy.
was like, dang, he's in that movie. That's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought the same thing, Wade.
Because it's the Italian Job. I mean, it's just funny because that's their last name, and you know they're Italian.
You're Italian, and your last name's Job, and so it's just perfect. You know,
it's perfect. Yeah, but yeah, there's
All right, True Confessions. I've actually never seen this.
Really?
I've never watched
it.
it.
Wade. It's good.
We should.
No, I've never seen it.
We need to get together and watch it.
You've never seen it, Jake?
What?
I know
you said that. Now,
it's like critically acclaimed.
Everyone's
like, I've never watched it.
You'll love it. You'll love it. Just sit down and watch it. You'll love it.
Okay.
You will.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's not like, oh my gosh, the story. It's just, you know, entertaining.
Yeah, it's a vibe. Turn it on, you're entertained.
Yeah, it's very
gotcha.
Entertaining. And so, a lot of the music is very early 2000. You know.
Well, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't have to tell Wade twice.
Nice, guys. Have we accomplished it? 2003's done.
We did it. That was pretty long.
That was good.
Everyone went a little long-winded on their passion project.
That was a hefty one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You guys are passionate about 2003.
2003 was awesome.